So far, we had discussed about plant-water relations. We had discussed about plant-water relations, how water and plants interact, how water and plants interact. And we said that water is essential to plants. It's vital to life because it's a very important solvent. It's a very important solvent and is basically responsible for the easy transport of solutes that are dissolved in it. And that the liquid content, the blood, is also made possible or is actually easily transported because of water. Blood is also transported easily because of water. And food substances, minerals are also transported upwards because of the ability of water to serve as a very good solvent. Then water is essential to plants for 4 reasons. One of them is that water consists of 85 to 95% of the plant's protoplasm. Then it is also essential for photosynthesis. Then we also established the fact that it is a solvent in which nutrients are carried into and throughout the plant. Nutrients are carried into and throughout the plant. That is, the nutrients are carried to the plant from the soil, and they're carried into the soil and also throughout the into the plant and also throughout the plant. Water also provides turgidity in the plant, and it's needed for transpiration. It's needed for transpiration. Water also alters the soil profile and retrogressive materials. We also looked at the water retention forces. The water retention forces are the adhesive forces water particles have for the soil particles and the cohesive forces that water feels for itself. Those are the factors that are responsible for water retention. And we have established that clay soils have higher water retention capacity than the sandy soils. Then we also looked at the fact that the water flows in the soil as a result of gravity, osmosis, and capillarity. Water flows in the soil as a result of osmosis, gravity, and capillarity. And we also said that there are 2 types of flow of water. We have saturated flow and we have unsaturated flow. We have saturated flow and we have unsaturated flow. Now, in saturated flow, water moves in downward direction as a result of gravity. And when this happens, when the soil is completely wet. In unsaturated flow, the water moves in all directions, particularly when there is not much water. So saturation means the soil is wet, very wet, and unsaturated means the soil is not very wet. And during that, when the soil is not very wet, water moves in all directions. Then we also looked at the factors that are responsible for unsaturated flow, that the cohesive forces that water has for itself and the adhesive forces, the soil particles, are responsible for unsaturated flow. We also looked at how water is being taken up by plants from the roots to the leaves of the tallest plant. And we have established that movement of water in the soil is through the xylem tissues. And some factors are responsible for that. And one of such factors is the cooling that's caused by transpiration. The cooling that's caused by transpiration is responsible for that. And this cooling occurs because water molecules stick to each other and to the walls of tracheal or xylem vessels. So that enables the water to move from the roots to the leaves of the plant. We have looked at how water moves, being absorbed from the roots, and then the pull of the transpiration pulls water from the roots upward. And this is also facilitated by the cohesion water has for each cell and for the walls of the xylem vessels. So they adhere to the walls of the xylem vessels and they cohere to each other. And this helps to pull the water upwards. We also looked at other factors which we have discussed, we want to also look at, that the movement of water at the cellular level plays a significant role in bulk water transport in plants as well. And the movement of water is in cells is as a result of ATP-dependent hydrogen forms. ATP-dependent hydrogen forms. And this fuel active transport, they increase the hydrogen ion gradient across membranes. Then we also looked at water and mineral transport routes. We said we have 3 transport routes. They include apoplast, symplast, and the transmembrane route. The apoplast route basically includes movement through the cell walls and the space between cells. The movement through the cell wall and the spaces between cells. Transport through the apoplast avoids membrane transport. The water does not move through the cell membrane, but only moves through the cell walls and the spaces between cells. Then we also look at symplast route. Symplast route basically refers to the movement of water through the cytoplasm between the symplast route is the continuum of cytoplasm between cells connected by plasmodesmata without crossing the plasma membrane. That's the water moves through the cytoplasm of the cells and passes through the plasmodesmata. And you have the transmembrane route. The transmembrane route, the water is transported across membranes, the cell membranes, and also membranes of vacuoles. Then we also looked at this picture that in the apoplast route, you see that the water moves through base membranes. Sorry, it moves through the cell wall and the spaces in between cells. It moves through the cell wall and the spaces in between cells, and that is the apoplast route. And in the symplast route, this water moves through the cytoplasm of the cell across this plasmodesmata. It moves through the cytoplasm of the cell, through the plasmodesmata from one cell to another. Then the transmembrane route is when this water moves through the membranes, the plasma membranes of cells, and across membranes of vacuoles. So the water moves through the membrane and even enters the vacuoles and it's transported in this way. All right, so that's basically how far we can go in today's